What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another solo episode. As I've said before, these are the most difficult ones for me. I don't feel like I'm the best orator or I'm the most eloquent or I can speak the best when it comes to these solo episodes, but it's something that I need to work on. So here we are. In addition to that, one of the things that I'm scared of that holds this podcast back from what it could be is my inability to be vulnerable, open up. That's hard for me. It's always been hard for me. And what's ironic is it's harder for me to do the more comfortable and better I know you. So if you're a stranger, I can be pretty open and vulnerable. The more I get to know you, the less that goes, the less I can do that. So that's why I had the idea to do this. And I'm a big believer of acting before you can talk yourself out of everything that can go wrong. So if you have an idea, if you have some kind of inspiration, act on it quickly because it doesn't stick around and neither does your motivation or your ability to do it. Act before you get scared. So what I want to talk about today, I have no idea how long this will be, and I hope it can be as vulnerable as what I want it to be. And so to do that, I tell myself, hey, if I don't like it, I don't have to post it. So if you're hearing this, I had some courage. But what I want to talk about today is why I'm terrified to turn 30. I'm 29. I'm about 6 months away from turning 30. It's pretty crazy to say. My birthday's in February of next year, and I'm scared. I don't think about it all the time, but when I do think about the fact that I'm 29 turning 30, I get anxious. I get a sense of foreboding. I get feelings of inadequacy, imposter syndrome. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. In fact, I know I'm not. I've watched enough content in this space to know that it's a common feeling for a lot of people. And it's just something I want to talk about. I want to share my thoughts on why I'm scared to turn 30. I don't necessarily have solutions for these. I'm not trying to, I don't know, maybe I'm just trying to shed or share my thoughts, my opinions, and let people know that they're not alone. If you're in a similar boat, or if you feel this way and you're not turning 30, or if you're turning 40 or whatever it is, I'm there too. So one of my main fears is, and I have my notebook here, I jotted down a few ideas before I started recording, and I'm just going to speak off of those. So one of my main fears is I feel like my race is over and I came in last. And what I mean by that is the 20s, you always hear like 20s are for figuring yourself out, figuring life out, figuring out what you want to do. Okay, but I'm going to become 30 and I still don't feel like I have it figured out. I feel like I'm coming across the finish line, and instead of having the work done that I'm supposed to have, my life figured out, career figured out, whatever it is, I feel like I'm crossing the finish line and I haven't made any progress. I'm coming in last. And it's really scary. It ties into this podcast. Like oftentimes when I'm doing this podcast, I feel like I'm wasting my time, or it may not amount to anything. And maybe I'm just here recording myself and my conversations with other people for no reason other than my own ego or my own hopes of what it could be. And it never amounts to that. And I know I'm not alone in that. I know that I actually shouldn't have it figured out by the time I'm 30 or ever. I know life is a continual race. I know it's something that I'm always going to be figuring new things out, but that doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't make it more simple. It doesn't erase the feelings of fear and anxiety that I'm behind where I should be. That I get on social media and I look around and I see everybody and I see this comparison to people who are older than me, younger than me, the same age, and I feel like they did it better than me. They're ahead of me. And like I said, I know that's because social media only shows the good. People only show the good on social media. But these rational thoughts don't always affect irrational feelings. And so as I get closer to being 30, I feel like I'm closer to this imagined finish line of which I did not do well. So that's one of my main fears. as I get closer to turning 30, I'm also getting closer to becoming a father. No, my wife and I are not pregnant yet. We're not having kids, but that's when we plan on starting to try. She will be finishing up her third year of medical school and starting her PhD. And in that window, it'll be a little bit more easy for her to have the time to become pregnant and for us to become parents. And as we draw closer to that, I'm very terrified of becoming a father. Not that I don't want to be, I definitely do, but I'm scared in my capacity and my ability to be a good dad, to be a good father. There's a lot of things about myself that I look in the mirror and I don't enjoy. I have definite deficiencies and weaknesses when it comes to my temperament. I can be less empathetic than I should be. I'm more empathetic now that I've married Maddie than I was, and it's something I'm continuing to work on, but I'm scared of that. I'm scared that I'm not patient enough. I'm scared that I'm going to pass on to my children certain qualities that I would not want or not know how to pass on the right qualities, the ones that I do want. I'm also scared about, again, tying it into not having everything figured out. I feel like I'm still, I feel like, when you're a kid and you look up at your dad or your mom and your parents and you're like, wow, they have everything figured out. They're adults. And then you get to that age and you're like, I don't have anything figured out. And you know that they didn't either. Again, it's just your perception of people older than you. But still, I don't feel like I'm in an appropriate position to be parenting another human life. I still feel like I am needing of my own parenting and my own guidance and my own, wisdom. And I don't feel like I have the capacity to hand that down to somebody younger or my own kids. I feel like that's a huge undertaking, a huge responsibility that I'm nervous I don't have the capacity to live up to. And I know that's not something that will ever come. I know that, like many things in life, you have to do it unprepared. You have to do it scared, and you figure these things out along the way, and you gain more confidence along the way. I mean, talking to James Ellis, a conversation we had on here, we were talking about becoming parents. And if you wait until you're ready to become a parent, you will never become a parent because you will never feel ready. Again, rational conversations, rational thought processes for irrational ideas, irrational feelings. Talking them through them may allow me to do it, but it doesn't necessarily make it any easier. I'm also scared about turning 30. I feel like I am not comfortable enough in who I am / who am I? ? I don't feel like I know who I am, what I stand for. I don't feel like I have strong principles or ideas or thoughts that I hold close to myself that are unshakable. I feel like I'm always consuming other people's ideas and other people's content, and I'm looking for validation from the science or people who have lived this certain ways. And then I just take that and say, here's the proof. I don't need to hold any concrete ideologies because I can just outweigh or I can just outsource that thinking and that belief to other people who have validated it. And then I don't need to hold that. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's how I feel about myself. I feel like I don't have a firm rock of which I've built who I am. And I think it's something that I, again, try to outsource maybe to physical challenges, doing hard things, because you hear that like, oh, you do something hard, like you know who you really are. And then if I do something hard and I complete it, i.e., run an ultra marathon or do whatever it is, do this hard challenge, and then I don't stop, it's like, oh, I know who I am. I'm somebody who doesn't stop. And then it's like, but what does that mean? I feel like I'm talking on my ass right now. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just rambling about this, but I feel like other people maybe, I hope, can benefit from it as well. I'm terrified to turn 30 as well because I feel like I care too much about what people think. The people's opinions of whom I care about are the people closest to me. The ones who I know have high opinions of me or love me or care about me. I feel like I weigh their opinion too much. This is going to be a short episode. It's going to be disconjointed. I'm going to be bouncing around clearly. But I just wanted to talk through the fact that I am scared of turning 30 for a number of different reasons. And if you are too, or if you feel like you're behind, you're not alone at all. And I know it's easy to say, and I know it's easy to think. And saying it and thinking it doesn't make me feel better, or it might not make you feel better. But I think it's important to know, regardless, because talking to all of these people that I've talked to, neuroscientists, PhDs, neurosurgeons, I've talked a lot about the brain. And what I've learned is you don't have to identify with those thoughts. Just because I'm thinking these things doesn't mean I actually have to believe them, even if I still feel them. Like I can rationally explore these thoughts and debunk them or put them aside as irrational and scared of the future and scared of change, fear of change or whatever it is. And it may not make me immediately feel better. Doesn't make it necessary that I believe these feelings. They are not who I am, and I can choose to act in spite of them. I don't necessarily have to wait for them to go away. They may not. They may be here for a long time. But it is my choice to use those feelings and thoughts as a limiter for my behavior and my actions. And it's crazy. Like even looking at where this podcast is now, like I've gotten monetized on YouTube. I'm approaching monetization on Spotify. Hey, I've got more, way more subscribers and listeners, and it gets more downloads, whatever it is. I have more proof of the success of this podcast than I did a week ago, a month ago, 6 months ago. And I'd be very happy seeing where I am now 6 months ago. But here I am now feeling inadequate about the thing that I'm working on because it's not 6 months down the road or whatever it is. That's the lesson that I need to take into account. I need to be more aware of how far I've come in the moment. I need to be more appreciative. I feel like so much of my life is lived for tomorrow. It's putting off accolades and congratulations given to me by me because there's more work to be done. But there's always more work to be done. There's always something else to be doing. And if I don't sit down and appreciate where I've come, then why do I expect to be able to appreciate down the line where I've come? I need to start appreciating the work that I've done and how far I've come and the success that I've achieved, albeit not nearly as much as I want. Again, it's not making substantial amounts of money by any means, but it's a start. And I need to be better at doing that, or else I feel like I'm always kicking my happiness down the road. I'll be happy, I'll be satisfied when X, and then X arrives and it's like, well, really, that was just an intermittent, that was just a get me to this next level because X is really further down the line. And I need to appreciate that now. And it needs to happen with so many more things about myself, about my life, fitness, my relationship, with my wife, my friendships, my work, whatever it is that I'm doing, I need to appreciate more because if my life were to change dramatically, like I was to win a significant amount of money, I would be doing the things I'm doing now, but why am I not happy with the things that I'm doing now? I don't know. Guys, I apologize for this episode. I know it's all over the place. I know it's probably not going to make a lot of sense, but it's my podcast, so I can do what I want. I promise to get back to regular scheduled programming. I just wanted to tell you guys how I was feeling. I think that's important. I've been thinking about what this podcast actually is, who's it actually for, and it's for people who feel alone. It's for people who feel behind. It's for people who feel like they don't measure up. It's for people who who feel like they're waiting to start living life because they haven't earned that right yet. It's for all those people because I'm those people. I feel that way often. So if that's you, you're in the right spot. Thanks, guys.